Hey, what's going on, people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video I'll be showing you 10 base game legendaries that you need in Borderlands 3. The quality of weapons in the base game continues to grow, and this is 10 of the best of them. If you don't have access to every DLC or just want to know what great guns the base game has to offer, this is the video for you. I'll be telling you what they do, who you need to farm to get them the quickest, and how you can maximize their damage output and make use of their strengths. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, and let's crack into it. But before we do, I'm pleased to announce that today's video is sponsored by none other than Raid Shadow Legends, an incredibly in-depth mobile game that you can play for free on both mobile and desktop devices by using the links in the description. In Raid, you'll command a wide variety of champions with their unique set of skills as you battle different factions on your quest for glory. There's a whopping 16 of them, with my personal favourite, the Dark Elves, who were exiled for their use of dark magic and won't bow down to anyone. My Dark Elf squad is led by Kale, often supported in combat by Sniper, who's adept with a bow. Kale's go-to attack is Acid Rain, which deals damage to everyone. You can tell he's good because he has over 80,000 player reviews. Raid is constantly evolving. They just released a huge champion update, tweaking and rebalancing over 20 different champions to make PvP arena battles even more competitive. And if that's not enough, the Forge just came out, so now you can save time and start crafting top quality artifacts and competing right away. If you're a new player and you click on the links in the description, you'll earn 100,000 silver, 1 energy refill, 10 mystery shards, and 1 free champion named Slasher, who looks absolutely unreal and will give you a huge head start. When you log in, you'll find all that treasure here, but it's only available for the next 30 days, so make sure to jump in quick. In no particular order, we start with the Hellshock, my favourite gun since it was first buffed a while ago now. It has an increased chance to drop from Vermilingua, who you fight here in the Splinterlands as part of the side quest, the Homestead Part 2. The Hellshock is a rapid-fire elemental pistol manufactured by Maliwan. Because it's made by them, it must be charged before firing and comes with 2 elements that you can change between. Those 2 elements are always Incendiary and Shock, as its name alludes to, and that's always a great pair. It sends a barrage of elemental fury straight into your opponents, burning flesh and draining shields. It's great against those types of enemies, as the perfect element is always there at your disposal, and you can even avoid changing elements altogether. All you need to do is make use of its ricochet effect by shooting at the ground, causing the bullets to ricochet into your opponents in the alternative element. Its recoil is quite heavy and it does go through ammo relatively quickly, but as long as you're hitting your target, the Hellshock will have no problem handling the challenge. Moving on now to the Lob, which has an increased chance to drop from Graveward. You fight in the floating tomb on Eden 6. The Lob is Borderlands 3's rags to riches story, originally being absolute trash, but Gearbox kissed the frog and now it's a king. It's an immensely powerful shotgun that doesn't fire explosives like you'd expect from Torg, but instead large elemental orbs infused with raw energy. The orbs travel slowly but pack a monster punch. Weaker enemies will explode just by going near them. It passes through enemies, damaging them as it makes their way through, scrambling their insides and dealing multiple ticks of damage. Because of the nature of their travel, the Lob isn't great when you're too far away or when your enemies are moving too fast. It's best when mobbing, when you're close enough to hear their final breath, as it fuels you to carry on. Another base game legendary that you should have in your arsenal is the Star Helix, a great gun even before its incredible buff, but now bathes in diamonds. It has an increased chance to drop from the Go-Go Power Troopers you fight at this point of the map in Atlas HQ. The Star Helix is a dual assault rifle that comes in just radiation, cryo, shock and non-elemental. Quite a select set of elements, but its damage certainly isn't select. It rides high all day long. The reason for its high damage is its multiple pellets and high fire rate. It fires 3 projectiles in a linear pattern that shimmer as they vibrate through the air. To maximize its damage, you want to be close to your target, as each pellet is quite spread and you can easily miss out on a heavy chunk of damage. Perhaps its weakest point is its mag size, sitting at just 24, but its damage and dependability comfortably makes up for that. Now to the game's best launcher, the Backburner, which can only be obtained by defeating the Agonizer 9000 while on Mayhem 6 or above. It comes in every element and fires an elemental orb at the cost of 3 ammo per shot. That orb looks like that of the lobs, but doesn't act like it at all. On contact, it produces a singularity that spawns small elemental contact grenades, which rain down on enemies surrounding the contact site. You'd think that the majority of its damage would come from the big one, but that only sets the stage for the real damage that's to come. The radius of each shot is large, wide enough to down multiple enemies. It's great for bossing, but also goes well in general play too, although it can take a little practice to squeeze out all of its heavy damage potential. The Calcin is next, another dial gun, this time an SMG. It can come in any element including non-elemental, and can only be dropped by Captain Traunt, who you fight at the very end of Athena's, but only if you're on Mayhem 6 or above. It fires quickly, deals good damage, and is unique in the way that it has multiple damage phases. First when your shots hit your target, and then again a few moments later when they explode. The majority of its damage happens at that latter stage as the stickies explode in a heap, and because that damage is splash damage, Moes can amplify its numbers. If you're looking for a splash damage SMG that packs a punch, there isn't anything better in the base game than this. You want to ADS with it though, as it is incredibly inaccurate since it's nerfed, but that isn't hard and makes chewing through mobs even easier. It's time now for the Monarch, a blitzkrieg on wheels, which can only be dropped from Kilovolt if you're on Mayhem 6 or above, and you fight him here in Electricity. The Monarch is an intense multiple pallet weapon that comes in every element, including non-elemental, and fires extremely quickly. It typically has 4 pallets listed on the card, but you can even get a ×8 variant that consumes 2 ammo a shot instead of the 1, but for close to double the damage. The bullet pattern is quite wide, like that of a Dictator, but you can tighten it to good effect by aiming. It rips through anything and everyone. The amount of pellets it sends forth at the rate it does leaves little chance for your target to survive, and it's a top tier weapon in all facets of the game. Because it's made by Vladov, it also comes with a bipod attachment, which when equipped will double your damage, although it will restrict your movement quite heavily. There's no doubt though that it's at its best when that bipod is out, and the lack of mobility is more than worth it for the monstrous damage you'll deal. Now for the Layuta, another recently buffed weapon that has an increased chance to drop from Tremendous Rex, the final boss of the Cistern of Slaughter. The Layuta is a fully automatic Vladov sniper rifle that can come in every element, including non-elemental, and packs a hefty punch. The reason for that is its extra pellets it produces, which aren't listed on the card. After travelling a short while, the initial round will split off into 2 more, upping its damage by 200%. At that correct range, it'll mow down crowds and get you all nostalgic about the times before it was nerfed. Things have come full circle now and the Layuta is back, and when you find that sweet spot, it'll reward you extremely well for it. Its reload time is also quick, which is another thing they improved, and means there's very little time when the death music isn't playing. Now to another great base game shotgun, the Reflux, a gun perfect for dealing with a pack. It's another Mayhem 6 or above weapon that can only be dropped by Genevieve, who you fight at the very end of the crashed ship in Voracious Canopy. The Reflux is the Brainstormer if it ate something that made it turn green and become even more powerful. It's made by Hyperion, has a steady fire rate, and can only come in that one element, which is Corrosive. Its unique effect causes corrosive chains to lash out from the enemy you're shooting at and bind themselves around all others. Any enemy caught in their grasp will not only up the damage of all other chains, but also have a chance to produce more itself. This creates an extremely effective gun for crowd control where you can melt the faces of countless enemies without even shooting at them. Every Vault Hunter will find joy in it, although perhaps most so in Flak, who can produce a mountain of critical hits that no other Vault Hunter can. The Sickle is another awesome weapon from the base game, coming in every flavor and consuming 2 ammo per shot. It has an increased chance to drop from Anointed X-4, who you can find hanging out right about here in the Anvil. It's the hardest weapon to get on this list, as the boom prefix is scarce but considerably more powerful than any other variant you can find. It's a fully automatic grenade launcher without the grenades, firing pellets that explode on impact, dealing high amounts of splash damage and crushing anyone caught in your wake. It should really be a shotgun because of its low ammo count, fire rate and heavy single shot damage, but it's not. It's an assault rifle which lends you plenty of ammo to burn. You'll find it hard to run out as you blast your way through countless enemies, lighting the way to their maker's doorstep. Because each shot deals splash damage, look out for the 200% action skill in splash damage anointment, but that's even harder to find, and a regular boom sickle will do more than dish out a little bit of pain. Capping off this round of 10 powerful non-DLC weapons is the Sandhawk, an incredibly powerful but ammo-hungry sniper rifle that can only be obtained by defeating Katagawa Jr. while you're on Mayhem 6 or above, and you fight him here in Atlas HQ. The Sandhawk is an elemental only dial weapon that can come in all of them, and fires a whopping 7 pellets at around 6 rounds a second. Each pellet deals high damage, and because of the sheer number of them and its rate of fire, the Sandhawk is one of the highest DPS weapons in the entire game, at least when you have ammo in it. 3 ammo per shot is what this thing costs you to use, and because of the small sniper rifle total ammo count, many players won't be able to use it for as long as they'd like. Infinite ammo Mo's will though, and she can tear it up for extended periods. For others it's mainly a boss dropper, although it does that job to perfection. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of 10 of the best base game legendaries that you need in Borderlands 3. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.